Hello all, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'll be talking about part 2 of the cash management bank statement import and reconciliation process. I got a very good response from a lot of subscribers with their comments for my part 1. Thanks for that. So this is the part 2. As you all know that in part 1 I was talking about different type of file formats which are accepted by Oracle cash management Fusion Cloud out-of-box functionality, and also I have explained about BA2 file in detail. And in today's video, I'll be talking about different prerequisites which are required for bank statement import as well as automatic reconciliation process. Now let's get into the details. Okay, so these are the prerequisites. The first step is define bank, bank branch, and bank account. Of course, that's being a very basic setup. I'll not get into the details of defining of a bank account in this video. I'll be starting from step number 2. Bank statement transaction codes. In my part 1 video, I had explained the significance of the bank statement transaction codes. So these are the different bank statement transaction codes which are used in BA file. So ideally, before you start the bank statement import process, you should be actually setting up of all the transaction codes, especially the transaction which are starting from 100 in your setup or in your system. Or if you are not willing to set up all these 500 odd bank statement transaction codes, probably at least you know to start with the bank statement transaction codes which are used in your BA file. So in my BA file, there are 1, 2, 3, 4 bank statement transaction codes, especially the transaction codes which are mentioned at the transaction detail record type 16. So I need to ensure that at least these 4 are set up in my system before I start importing of this particular BA file. So the task for this is manage bank statement transaction codes. So go to your setup and maintenance, and then you can go for your global search, or you can pick up your financial workspace in financials, cash management and banking, and then yeah, under required tasks you can see manage bank statement transaction codes. As this being a testing environment, all my transaction codes had already verified that all my 4 transaction codes are already set up in the screen. But if you want to set up, I'll just take one example, say 495. Click on plus, enter the transaction code, which is 495. Description. So obviously, if you are not aware of what should be the description for 495, you can refer this BA file with the description. Again, it's not mandated that you need to follow exactly the same description, but it makes sense. The description, whatever you mention against the particular transaction code, should be your BA description. Of course, there is no system validation, but it should be the proper BA description. So copy this description here. And I know like 495, it's debit. So it's actually a payment related transaction. So if it's a payment related, I mean, I can go for your automatic clearinghouse check or electronic funds transfer, or it could be a bank fee. It doesn't matter. It could be any of these transaction types. So let me pick up automatic clearinghouse and then say save. If I do a save, I get an error message because 495 already exists in this environment. So if I scroll down, I should be able to find the 495 somewhere. Yeah, 495. 495. Yeah. Okay. I think I have mentioned just outgoing money transfer. Yeah, it's 495. Similarly, my other transaction codes are also set up in this environment. Okay, so that's the first setup. Second one is transaction type mapping. So the task is manage cash transaction type mapping. Click on all task, manage cash transaction type mapping. So in this particular screen, you already have some seeded mapping. So here you are trying to map your cash management transaction type to the corresponding subledger payables or receivables payment method. So if I click on plus, type is whether it's disbursement is AP and receipt is AR. So let's say disbursement. Select the cash management related transaction type, and then as you have selected disbursement, so in the dropdown, you'll be able to see the corresponding payment methods, whether it's a check or clearing, electronic funds transfer, and so on. So let us assume if you have selected, say, a receipt. And even again for receipt, it can be same transaction type. And then you'll be able to see in the dropdown the corresponding AR receipt methods. So, I mean, this particular step is not exactly required for bank statement import, but this step is used by the system during your automatic reconciliation. So from this particular process, system understand what exactly is the transaction time. I mean, the transaction which exists in the bank statement line against this particular transaction code. Internally, it checks what exactly is the transaction, cash management transaction type, and from that cash management transaction type, system comes to this particular screen and check what exactly is the corresponding type. And from that, system understand whether it needs to go and check for that particular record during bank statement or bank reconciliation in either AP or AR. I mean, you'll better appreciate this when we get into the bank statement automatic reconciliation topic. Okay. But pretty much this step is not exactly required for bank statement import. And the next one is parsing rules. And the task for that is manage parse rules. Manage parse rule sets. Manage parse rule sets. Yeah, this is the task. Okay, there are already a couple of parse rule sets. Let me create my own parse rule sets. And let me give you a little bit background of parse rule sets, or why do we go for parse rule sets. Parse rule sets or parsing rules helps us in mapping the data within the uh, cash management interface table to the cash management base table. So based on the standard out of box functionality, whenever you do a bank statement import process, bank statement import process will pull the data into concerned bank statement interface tables. So if you see here, yeah, I think for some of the columns I've explained in this spreadsheet, what are the different bank statement interface table or the columns where the data goes. But if you have a specific requirement wherein you want to pull the data from the bank statement interface table into the bank state into your cash management base table, then you can use the parsing rules. So I'll just give you one example. So this is the sample BAI file. So in this particular BA file at transaction detail record 16, let me again go here. Okay, for transaction detail 16, if you look at this, the first one is the record type. This is the transaction type code, amount, funds type, bank reference, customer reference number. So this is the customer reference number. So this customer reference number goes to something called your customer reference number column in bank statement interface table. And this is basically in general, in the case of AP, this will be a payment number. In the case of AR, this will be a receipt number. Okay. Sometimes this number might not be in this particular field. It might come in, say, what do you call this? The next one, which is text field. Or sometimes even in this particular field, if in the bank statement, if out of this entire text, so instead of exact payment number or check number, if I have a prefix or something like this. So this is a 495 is payment rate. So sorry, it could be like and say for receipt 142 is the receipt. So for receipt, let's assume I might get a text like this. So now I need to write a rule wherein in this particular transaction code of, I mean, for the transaction code of 495, okay, if there is any alphanumeric text in the customer reference number, I want to get rid of the this alphabets, and I want to derive only this number. Okay, so my parsing rule says I mean, I should write my parsing rule in such a way that I need to get rid of these 4 digits and I need to pick up the number, whatever is in customer reference number, and I need to push that to something called reconciliation reference number. So reconciliation reference number is visible in bank statement lines. Again, I can better explain that whenever I complete the bank statement import process. Reconciliation reference field is available in the bank statement line. So in the reconciliation reference field, that's where you actually see your payment number or your check number. And again, whenever you do an automatic reconciliation, generally you write your rules to go and check the data in your reconciliation reference field in your bank statement lines and look for a transactions within Oracle system. If it's an AP, that's look for the transactions within AP system to find the corresponding payments with that particular number. Similarly, if it's an AR transaction, yeah, the bank statement automatic reconciliation process look for the corresponding AR receipts with that particular receipt number. Okay, so now if I do not write any parsing rules, then this entire data might get into your reconciliation reference field. But my requirement is to pull only the number but not this text. Okay, and if let us assume that if you do not get this particular prefix, you just get directly number, then probably you might not even require to create any parsing rules. Okay, so now I'll try to create a parsing rule. Parsing rule will be, I'll just say test parsing rule, and okay, let me save the header. Now I can create the lines. Okay, first thing is I want to write this rule for 495. So whatever the transaction codes which you have entered as part of step number 2, all those transaction codes will be appearing in the drop down. So I can just directly enter that 495. So that is my transaction code. So you need to write these rules for each of the transaction codes. So in this example, I have this particular text. I need to get rid of this particular text only for transaction code 495 and 142. So that means I can write the rules only for these two. I need not write the rules for others where I do not have similar kind of requirement there. Okay. And what is a source field? This is basically, I know this is a customer reference field. So when you say source field, it's basically the source, the field in the bank statement interface table. And what is the target field? That is your cash management base table field. I want this to go to reconciliation reference. Okay. And within the rule, I just want to get rid of this. So let us assume, yeah, so this is the syntax. So the syntax is, yeah, the syntax is pay colon and then X and then this is a tilde symbol. So that means system should exclude these 4 characters P, A, Y and then colon and then extract everything from here. So that's what this particular syntax is. Sometimes there could be a requirement that I get say check number not in maybe your check number not in this field, but maybe say example in this field. Okay. So that's basically what is that? That's basically your bank reference field. Okay. And if I have a requirement to pull this entire data from bank reference field into some other field, maybe reconciliation reference. So in those cases, I will write my rule as this. So that means pull everything. And in that example, then or in those cases, I would have written my rule as what was that field name? Bank reference. Okay, so I think it's a customer text. Okay, I don't know. Customer text is not coming. But anyways, you can write your own rules wherein You can pull the data from one field to a different field, or within that particular same field, you can extract certain number of characters. So in this case, I'll go with this 495 customer reference. So whatever is there in my customer reference, I want to pull the characters after pay colon. So my rule would be this. And my second rule would be for 142, in customer reference, there is some data which I want that to be pushed to your reconciliation reference. And I want to extract this one, characters after this text. So even here I should do the same thing. Okay, and also check the checkbox override. So this checkbox says that just in case if there is some other data which is already existing in reconciliation reference, which is maybe pushed from some other fields into this, so that will be overwritten with the data in this particular rule. So that is the significance of your parsing rule. So you can write the rules using your parse rule set, wherein you can specify the data which needs to be pushed from source into target, and you can also specify whether you want all the characters to be pushed. If you want all the characters to be pushed, then just simply just put x and then tilde, and if you want some specific characters, then you can use this way. I have some examples here. So one scenario is if you want to extract everything, then you can use this x tilde. If you want to extract everything after a fixed text, so again, this is an example. If you want to extract everything after fixed text, then use this way. And third scenario is extract characters from 6th to 10th position after a fixed text. So this is one example. Example, if you want to extract 5 characters after the text receipt, then receipt 6 to 10. So that means in this example, let's assume if I use this, what will happen is, in this case, after receipt colon, system will skip first 5 characters and then pick up the characters from 6th to 10th. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So system will pick up these letters 17596. So that is the significance of the parsing rules. Okay, but I do not want to do that. So in this case, I want to write parsing rules only for these two transition codes, and in other for 187 and 475, what I will do is my rule would be 180, yeah, 187, and I want everything. So I just say x tilde. Similarly for 475, I'll do the same thing. Whatever is there under customer reference, I want that to be pushed to reconciliation reference, and I want everything. Again, I'll check these two checkboxes. Okay, save. Save and close, and test parsing rule is my rule name. Let me make a note of that. Because once these tolerance rules and bank matching rules are created, you need to assign these parsing rules, tolerance rules to the bank account. So let me make a note of my parsing rule set name. My parsing rule set name is test parsing rule. Okay, or maybe I'll just make a note of this in a notepad. Let me go to the next step. The next step is define tolerance rules. So the task is manage tolerance rules. Manage tolerance rules. Search here. Manage tolerance rules. Oops. Mm, manage tolerance. Okay, yeah. So manage tolerance rules is basically, I think it's not exactly under cache management. So let me do a search under global search. It's in a different work area. I think. How come it's not there? Yeah, bank statement, manage bank statement reconciliation tolerance rules. Okay, manage bank statement reconciliation tolerance rules. So let me try to create a new rule. So my rule name would be test tolerance rule. Again, just make a note of this rule. Enter the description. And so basically, again, these tolerances are used by the system during your bank statement automatic reconciliation. Uh, if you want to do a tolerance based on the date, amount, or percentages, if I go with the amount percentage enable, so basically if I say amount below one and above one, or maybe say $5, so that means what we are trying to do is like if your bank statement line shows an amount of say $95, and if my Oracle transaction amount is say $100, then as long as the reconciliation reference number matches, that is your check number matches, the system will still do an automatic reconciliation even though there's a $5 variance, because we are providing some kind of a tolerance. Sometimes this happens basically you issue a check to the or you deposit a check receipt from the customer for say $100, and in your AR you might have $100, but in your bank you might have a record for only $95, because sometimes what bank does is bank is going to credit the net of the bank charges. So maybe $5 would have been a bank charges. So in that case, it will directly credit your bank account with only $95. So that means in your bank statement, you might see only $95. So if you go with this tolerance of five, if it as it is within the tolerance, it's within the $5 limit, bank statement automatic reconciliation process will still perform the automatic reconciliation for the particular record. Similarly, as far as the date tolerance is also concerned, maybe you can just say days before and days after. Again, it's basically sometimes you create your record in your AR, say today, but by the time you deposit that particular check with the bank, maybe it's 2 days later, and by the time it gets cleared, it might take another 2 days and so. So you can put some kind of a date tolerance as well. So that means if your Oracle transaction date is within plus or minus say 10 days of your cash management or your bank statement, then as long as your reconciliation reference number matches, that is as long as your check date of your Oracle transaction and your bank statement matches, and if it is within the tolerance as far as the amount is concerned, then system will still do an automatic reconciliation of those records. So let me save this. Maybe I'll do save and close. And the next one is the define bank matching rules. And the task for that would be manage bank matching rules. Manage bank. Okay, manage bank statement reconciliation matching rules. Manage bank statement reconciliation matching rules. Okay, so click on plus. Okay, so probably I think this matching rules, I will maybe try to explain it during your bank statement automatic reconciliation. I'll make a note of this and I'll try to explain this during your bank statement automatic reconciliation topic. I'll skip that for now. The next one is bank reconciliation rule sets. Bank reconciliation rule sets. Manage bank statement reconciliation rule set. Rule sets. Okay, so click on plus. So give it a name. So I'll just say test reconciliation rule set. Okay, so I think yeah. So this is basically a combination of your matching rule which we skipped and the tolerance rule. So both of these two needs to be combined and grouped under reconciliation rule set so that this reconciliation rule set can be assigned to our bank account. So probably I'll just pick up maybe uh, one example, maybe payables reference match. And what is the tolerance rules? The tolerance rules, whatever we have created, test tolerance rule. And I'll also add one more, one for payables, another for receivables. So receivables also, maybe I'll just add one more. So it's basically at a high level, this is with these particular matching rules are like, how do you want to, how does system understand to match your receivables transaction from your cash management bank statement lines to your AR? Like how does system understand? Like how does system needs to match? Is it by receipt batch name, receipt date, receipt amount, receipt number, and so on? Similarly for AP also similarly. So and there are different options available. So I'll not get into those details for the time being. I'm just picking up seated existing the rules and just clubbing them under my rule set. So let me save this. So that completes this one. Now assign the parsing rules, tolerance rules, and reconciliation sets to consent bank account. Okay, what is my bank account? So this is my bank account. So go to the task manage bank accounts. Search for this particular bank account number. So this is the bank account number. And then edit. And then controls. So under manual reconciliation tolerance rule, so assign your tolerance rule. And under parsing rule set, assign your parsing rule. And under automatic reconciliation rule set, assign the rule set whatever you have created. Yeah, save and close. Okay. And the last step is to define cash management lookups for opening and closing balance. And manage cash management lookups is the task for that. Manage cash management lookups. Manage cash. Cash management. Okay, I'm just trying to look for that lookup name. It was okay. Let me stop sharing for a minute. Let me pull that lookup name. Okay, I'm back. So the lookup type name is the internal balance codes. So basically, this is an optional setup. Again, if you want to see a different meaning or a description for a specific, for certain transaction types codes, you can use the CE balance code. So I'll just give you one example. So if you go to your this, I mean, again, we did not do any bank statement import, but there is one existing bank statement which is already imported in this particular test environment. I'll just open that. So if you open the bank statement, so this is how the first page which shows your opening balance, closing balance, and this will show your statement lines. So if you go here, here you have different statuses. So basically, if you look at our BA file, we have 010 shows the opening balance and 015 shows the closing balance. 010 is opening ledger balance, 015 is a closing balance. 040 is the opening available balance, 045 is a closing balance same day. So take this 045 as an example. So in the cash management bank statement lookups, I have assigned for 045, I have given a meaning of closing balance same day. So that's the reason why you can see here. If I had not defined that, then had I not defined that, then probably here the description would be blank. So that means from a user perspective, 045 doesn't give any meaning to him, right? So using your cash management lookups, you can give your user defined meaning or appropriate meaning for the transaction code. Now, what I'll do is for 140 here, you can see blank, right? I'll go to the cash management lookups and I'll give a user defined meaning for 140. So what exactly is 100? If you go to your BA file explanation, 100 refers to the 100, where is 100? 100 is the, this is a control total debit, control total credit. So basically 100 refers to the control total credit. So here the control total of all the credits is $110. So here I'll give that particular meaning of control total credit in the lookup. And then once I come back to this particular screen, you'll be able to see that. Similarly for 400, it's a control total debit. Okay. And then come back to the screen and you'll be able to see the descriptions for that. So that's the significance of your cash management lookups. Otherwise, it's not, again not a mandatory. So let me show you that. So you need to go to the manage cash management lookups task. Setup and maintenance. You can select your financials, cash management banking. all tasks, manage cash management lookups, and search for the lookup type, see internal balance codes. Is for 040 and 045 have given some meanings here. Let me give a similar meaning for 100. And for reference data set, again, I'll not get into the details and significance of this reference data set. So just use common set and under meaning. What is 100? Ideally, 100 is basically, it's a controlled total credit. Even if you go to your BA file, that's what it says. 100 is a total credits or control total credits. So you can just use any meaning. So I'll just say total credits. Description blank. Do that. And again for 400 also, I'll give you a similar meaning. You can use common date set here. And 400, if you go in the BI file, what is 400? 400 is a total debits or control total for debits. So save and close. Now let me go to one of the existing bank statement, and there you'll be able to see that against 100, the description is total credits, and against 400, you'll be able to see the description as total debits. See here, for 100, it's total credits and total debits. Before updating of the cash management lookups, it was blank, right? So that is the significance of the cash management lookups. If you want, you can give your user-defined meaning for certain transaction codes. So that's the last step in the prerequisites which are required for a bank statement input as well as automatic reconciliation. In my next video, I'll show you the steps for importing of the bank statement. What are the steps which are required for automatic import, and what are the steps which are required for manual import. Thank you.